You ever had a full conversation in your head that never actually happened? You are not speaking out loud. No one else is there. But in your mind, it feels real. You know exactly what they would say. You know how you would respond. You replay it, adjust it, perfect it, and somehow it feels real. At first, it does not seem like a problem. It starts small, harmless even. You think about a conversation you had earlier, something slightly awkward, something you wish you handled better. So you go over it again and again, changing your words, fixing your tone, imagining a better version of yourself, a version that said the right thing, a version that did not hesitate. Then it moves forward. You begin to imagine conversations that have not even happened yet. What if they say this? What if you say that? What if it goes wrong? What if it goes perfectly? And without realizing it, you start living in a world that only exists in your head. You are not just thinking anymore. You are rehearsing life. In these imagined scenarios, everything is under control. You choose the outcome. You avoid embarrassment. You feel understood, respected, even admired. It becomes a safe space, a place where reality cannot disappoint you. But slowly, something changes. You start doing it more often, while walking alone, while lying in bed, even in the middle of real conversations. Part of you is present, but another part is somewhere else, already predicting what is coming next, already preparing a response, already imagining different outcomes. And the more you do it, the harder it becomes to stop. Because this is not just imagination anymore. It is a coping mechanism. And if you are listening to this and thinking, this is exactly me, you are not alone. Drop a comment saying, me. I want to see how many people quietly go through this. Psychologically, the mind does this for a reason. When you constantly imagine scenarios, you are trying to create a sense of control. In a world that feels uncertain, you are trying to protect yourself from being caught off guard, from being misunderstood, from feeling small. It is your brain's way of saying, if I can just think it through enough times, maybe I will not get hurt. But control is an illusion. Because no matter how many scenarios you create, reality will always be different. And that is where the anxiety begins. You start to feel exhausted, not from what is happening in your life, but from everything happening in your head. Conversations that never took place, arguments that never happened, futures that do not even exist yet. Your mind becomes loud, even in silence. You overanalyze everything, every word, every look, every pause. Did I say too much? Did they mean something else? What if I ruined everything? And then, without noticing, you drift back into another imagined scenario, trying to fix a feeling you cannot explain. There is something deeper beneath all of this. For some people, this is not just about control. It is about escape. Reality does not always give you what you need. Not the validation, not the closure, not the version of people you hoped they would be. So your mind creates it. In your head, conversations go the way you wish they would. People understand you. They listen. They respond the way you have always wanted. In your head, you are not misunderstood. You are not ignored. You are not overlooked. And that feels comforting. But there is a quiet cost to that comfort, because the more you live in those perfect scenarios, the harder it becomes to accept real life. Real conversations feel messier. Real people feel harder to understand. Real moments feel less satisfying. And sometimes, without meaning to, you start pulling away from reality. Just a little. Not completely. Just enough to stay safe. But here is the truth most people do not talk about. You are not weird for doing this. You are not broken. You are someone who learned to think deeply, maybe too deeply. Someone who became hyper-aware. Someone who found comfort in imagination. In a way, it is intelligence. But when it goes too far, it becomes a trap. Because life is not meant to be rehearsed. It is meant to be lived. Messy conversations, unexpected moments, imperfect responses. That is where real connection happens. Not in your head, but here, in the present moment. And maybe the goal is not to stop imagining, but to notice when you drift too far and gently come back. Not everything needs a meaning. Not everything needs to be replayed. Not everything needs to be solved. Sometimes it is enough to just be here. If this feels familiar, you are not alone. And maybe the life you are trying to perfect in your head is already waiting for you. Imperfect, unpredictable, and real. And that is where everything begins. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one.